let's just have a few quick reactions. Benny, the Houston Texans just picked up Mark Ingram. What I remember you and I talking, and you asked me about who I would rather have, Mark Ingram or Aaron Jones. And I was like, I like Mark Ingram. And you were like, you'd be losing in fantasy, buddy.
Exactly.
Completely. But, you know, it's interesting to see who is going to the Texans. Now, we know Deshaun wants to go. Or at least that's what we're hearing. I haven't heard this from Deshaun. I mean, have you heard anything more direct than from Deshaun than reports are?
I mean, reports are that that's what he wants. He would rather play for another team. I have not seen an actual interview where the words came out of his mouth that I no longer want to play here and I want to be traded or released so that I can play for another team. I have not heard him actually say that. Such an interview may be out there. I just haven't seen it. But it seems to be pretty clear through either a surrogate or his agent or whoever that that is the case. He no longer wants to be a Houston Texan. He would like to be traded, released, whatever is going to make it possible for him to be able to move on to another team and get away from that situation.
Now, this is the part that is, I'm not going to say confusing, but notable to me, okay? Number one, there's a similarity to Wentz and his situation in that these are two quarterbacks recently signed big-time contracts who want out, reportedly, want out, even though they had a major change. The coaches, they had brand new coaches, and then the situation in Houston, a brand new coach and a new GM, and yet still wanted out. What I would have thought is even with like Wentz, I kind of understand wanting to go to the Colts and being back with Frank Reich. Everybody knows that they had success together. That's another conversation. But relative to the Houston Texans, the thing that surprised me was when I realized that Texas coach Dave Culley really was the only black head coach hire of the new season. I didn't even realize that there was a black head coach hire. They were talking about Robert Saleh going as a minority coach, but Houston has the only black coach, and from what I understand, a number of their newest coaches and management team are also African American. So you have Deshaun, who reportedly wants out, but you have the opportunity. Now, this is the thing. I'm like, okay, well, who the heck is David Culley? I really did not have any idea who he was. But long story short, David Culley has a long history in coaching, a pretty successful history, much less.
Yes, that's true.
Somewhat impressive. I was a bit surprised. You're more familiar apparently than I was with David Culley.
Well, I'm not going to say that I was more familiar with him, but when I did understand that they made him the head coach there, I quickly looked, and he's got a pretty extensive resume. He's been around for quite a while, as opposed to some other guys that got head coaching jobs that we talked about in the past, who were simply position coaches and never had a head coaching stint either in college or high school or anything. So yeah, when you talk about those kind of things, then yes, his resume is pretty impressive, and I don't think there's going to be a problem, or I don't think any Houston Texan fans will have a problem with this guy from an experience standpoint.
Well, experience is ridiculous. Listen to this, okay? Coming out of college, first of all, he had college coaching experience, but he came out from Texas A&M University as a wide receivers coach. Hired by Tampa Bay in 94, all right, as a wide receiver coach. 96, hired by the Steelers as a wide receiver coach. 99, hired by the Eagles under Andy Reid, okay, and was the senior offensive assistant. In 2013, hired by Andy Reid with the Kansas City Chiefs as his assistant head coach and wide receiver coach. 2017, hired by the Bills as the quarterback coach under Sean McDermott. 2019, hired by the Ravens as the assistant head coach, receivers coach, passing coordinator. And then in 2021, hired as the head coach for the Texans. Man, I'd be wanting to play for that guy. I'd be like, oh yeah, you gonna have it? Hold on here, let me go talk to this guy.
This guy's been around. He's obviously an offensive-minded coach. He's been a wide receiver coach for quite a while. He's had stints on very good teams as a quarterback coach. The assistant head coach job is the type of job that tells me that the head coach really trusts this guy. Like he's a real right-hand man type of guy. You know what I mean? So that's impressive also. He's been around. He's been under some good coaches. He's worked with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, you would think on the surface that if you're a quarterback and this guy becomes your head coach, that you would want to play for him. But we have to remember that Deshaun's problems are organizational and happened before this guy got hired. Just like Wentz had organizational problems before the Eagles' new head coach was hired. The difference is, to me, that Deshaun, even under duress, played extremely well, and Wentz played extremely poorly. And Wentz felt like he needed to get out of town to get from under that organization, as if it had something to do with his poor play, where Deshaun simply wants to get out because he just does not like the direction that the organization is going in. Obviously, they want him to stay. They keep saying he's our guy, and they're making moves to try to convince him that they care about him and want to make the organization as likable to him as they possibly can. That's the difference. Now, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if, here's the thing. If his main gripe is with the owner, he might look at this as, yeah, okay, yeah, you did that because you just don't want to trade me and you just don't want to let me go and you just want to keep me here. But I'm not falling for it because I know where your heart is. That's the way it seems to me. Like he's made up his mind and there's nothing that they can do to change it.
Well, and again, on everything you just said, let's just put reportedly.
Exactly.
Because he hasn't said anything.
Because he hasn't actually said in detail, here's my deal. This is how I feel. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. We have not heard that. You're correct.
All right.